What is up, everybody? My name is Commander, and welcome back to another episode of Ark Survival Evolved. You might be looking around like, what are we doing on Ark? And I already can tell you we're on the bridge. And you've done this video, Commander. You've talked about the super secret base under the bridge. Well, this is a revisit to the bridge, and the reason why we're revisiting the bridge is somebody asked me, can you build, and oh my god, look at the sail on that, just beautiful. Somebody asked me, can you build a bigger base on the thing? And I said, sure. And he was asking, can you build it? And so I told him, yeah, I'll go ahead and have a video out by Tuesday. So here it is, Monday night, right before Tuesday. I'm going to get this video done. And a little fan service, I guess. I mean, you asked me to do it. I'm going to try it. And I'm kind of curious, too, how big it needs to be. Everything. We're going to use regular pieces for this. We're not going to use any S Plus because I don't believe we need the S Plus. And so since we don't need the S Plus, we're going to go this route with it. So first off, we need to go ahead and do what we've always done. We need to get those materials. So I'm going to be back after I get the material. Alright, so we have the first bit of materials here, and basically we got the 2 spawn codes. But before I go any further, I would like to say also, if you are liking this video at any point in this video, hit that like button, let me know you're enjoying it. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you're enjoying. If you have any suggestions, always, just like this one right here, which is what spawned this video. If you have any thoughts or ideas and you want me to kind of test them out, feel free to ask. I mean, I'm good with Ark for the most part. I have a basic understanding of a lot of it. I can make those videos. So if you have an idea, definitely throw it out there. Let's see what we can do and see if we can kind of do what you're asking. I mean, I might have some abilities that you don't have because you're not too sure on how to set up your Ark server. So again, if you have an idea, throw it out there. Let's see. Let's find out if we can actually do what you're wanting to do. So first thing you're going to want to do is find that pillar spot right there, somewhere to where you can stack the pillar, because you're going to need the also no clip ability. You cannot build this without the no clip. If you try and build without the no clip, it's not going to work. What will happen is one of two things. If you do manage to stand a pillar on this, which I think it's possible to get the pillar, you'll have an issue with it'll saying too high above ground. But with the no clip, you don't have this problem. And you can see already that I've got this crooked. So let's just... I don't like it crooked. I'm sorry, guys. We gotta fix it. We gotta fix it. No crookedness. So I think... feel like that's pretty straight. It's not going to be perfect because, well, it's never going to be perfect. Never has been. And we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, is that pressed into top up there? Now, this is not a super secret base. This is just a jumbo base that hangs from the bridge. That's what this is. This is a jumbo base that hangs from the bridge. So pretty much you guys have seen all this before. You just build a base on top up here. Just some sort of scaffolding. You could go as far as making this entire top section solid with pillars hanging. I don't know if I would suggest that, just due to the fact that you might need to have, you might want to use this as a work area. You might not care that much. This thing is going to stick out like a sore thumb by the end of this. That's pretty much for sure. So guys, we have the first row done here, and what I would first suggest is when you're building this, set up some turrets in here to stop rockets from flying in here. You're going to have a lot of people that are probably going to just go to try and knock out the very upper section here. Set up a lot of turrets, and you should be in good shape to preventing rockets from coming through here. Cannonballs, you're not going to be in too good a shape, but if they start blowing holes through this wall, when they start opening up these openings here, they're going to want to try and fire cannons in. If you have, I mean, they're going to be in a very limited fashion if they're in here, which means they're probably going to be in range of turrets. And if they're in range of turrets, they're going to be in range pretty far. A little weakness right here is maybe this, but like I said, we might try and utilize this for something. We'll work on this portion of it later, though. So turrets inside here, that way if someone were to pop this open, because you're going to want to shield this off and lock the turrets down, because this is the protection for these pillars, which is your whole foundation. Your foundation is hanging in this case. So your whole building is hanging on what's up here, so lots of turrets, everything you can to protect this section. My next suggestion would be have one pillar that goes pretty much down as your spine. Now you could do more again because you don't want people to just knock down the whole thing. But I think the spine of this whole building doesn't really need to be more than one pillar all the way down. And this is for cost conservation. If you have the resources, I would suggest running pillars down all along all sides and pretty well stacking your pillars up in there, and then still leaving some turrets to defend everything. So, alright, so I do want to make one point here where I'm kind of still building on the basis that things might block the gate and stuff. You could cram this gate all the way back here. And what's actually funny is we don't even need a floor for this. I can just basically build this anywhere, as far back as I want, because this is a no-clip server, giving me that option. It gave me a real good option. However, this is the base that I'm building, so I'm going to build it a little more, I don't know, without the god powers at my disposal. So we're going to go ahead and build like you probably would if you were trying to get this out, basically. And that's pretty straight. I mean, I could keep trying, but it's going to get really unstraight. Now, we want to line it up center here. Set that right there. Now, the gate's right there. And we should be able to seal all this off. Can't see the gate from above. That's one of the big importances. You might be, why are you putting a behemoth gate down? Well, you know what? If you're going to have a big giant base like this, one thing you definitely need is you're gonna need a Quetzal. And so you're going to have to store a Quetzal in here. And we're going to build a Quetzal hangar in here as well. Because that's probably what you're going to fly and land in here. As well as several other dinosaurs. So that's in pretty good shape. The door is not going to be 100% sealing everything. So there is its own issue there. And I think I destroyed this for no reason. Because what we're going to do right over here, and actually it's almost perfect over here. So we are definitely a little crooked. We're going to put some walls up and some turrets and stuff. Just anything to seal this. Because you don't want them getting behind this. And that's an unfortunate byproduct of this. Now you could push this further back so parts of it don't expose parts of it. But really, this is the main majority of it right here. This is the problem. So by doing this, we were able to, you could sink this further back in there if you wanted to. I am just building it like this. All right, guys, so we have now got the floor placed here. And what you'll notice is it's not the cleanest build. And I don't think it really can be the cleanest build. You can see back here, this was your main support hanging most of your structure, but back here, you have a secondary support structure for everything behind here. Again, that pillar is reaching down all the way, but you're going to see nubs, unfortunately. I can probably go ahead and get rid of this one. But there's no way I can get rid of that last pillar. And the only thing that can be done is to try and encase them. And in order to do that, we're going to need a bunch of walls. We're going to encase the bottom of this the best we can. And we may have some trouble with that. So we're going to have to go looking this over and making sure we got it right. But you're going to have to make sure. And I had a few issues. As you can see right here, actually, this pillar is completely pointless. So you can see that pillar sitting right inside there. And if I go inside, it had to reach all the way up into here. It's got to hit this block. This is the block that counts as ground. This stuff on the side does not count as ground, so you can't build into it. So guys, I've run into a little bit of a snag here. This structure right here is not lining up. And I could get more pillars, but they would stick through the top, and that's just not going to work. Had I backed the behemoth gate up a little bit, so this is my own fault, I could seal this off. And you can also see there's not a perfect seal here. And what I'm actually looking at is down here when I was trying to encase this. I can't place any walls here. So in theory, the door would need to be further back. Make sure you keep it further back, and that way you'll be able to encase it. So this would be basically flush. Wouldn't even have this little indentation here. This would be filled in. Well, technically this entire front row would not exist, and you would start from back here. And so the next thing you would do is go through and place as many walls as possible like this. And you might be wondering, why would you place so many walls in such a pattern um, on the structure on this down here? And the reason why is you're wanting to make this as hard as possible for them to find those. Those pillars right there are the only thing holding up that back half of the building. If they manage to come in from the bottom and blow in the bottom, they're going to destroy that section. That entire section is going to drop, and they're going to have access to your building. Anything back here will be lost. So you obviously don't want to lose this stuff, and that's the biggest thing. Granted, a lot of these pillars are hanging up here, but if you lose your floor, you've lost your floor. Alright guys, so we mainly got the floor in place, and you can kind of see what I've done here. Now, there will be something else you're doing to this floor in a second, but I wanted to show you what it's supposed to look like. This is what you're going to want to do to your entire floor underneath. And the reason why you're going to want to do that is by honeycombing, you're interconnecting your walls, which is going to provide an additional layer of support, as well as it's going to hide these pillars. You don't want them finding these pillars, because if they find these pillars, they will collapse your floor. And they'll come in through the floor versus coming in where they really need to, or where you want to direct them to, where your turrets are. So now all you're going to do is you're going to come through and you're going to cap them off. Unfortunately, you'll want to do this portion of it with some thatch. I'm going to use metal walls, but you're going to want to hang an additional wall hanging down, as you will not be able to build your ceilings directly below and just snap them below. So what you've got to do is hang a ceiling, and you'll do that. And then once you have your first ceiling, you shouldn't even need any more. Let me get a few more here. Oh, those are pillars. I needed ceilings, 68. So now we should be able to just snap to it, but we just needed the first ceiling to do it. And now you can go around and essentially just snap the ceilings and encase everything. We can come back through and demolish this. However, again, this is going to be very dangerous unless you're on a Quetzal. So you're going to be probably doing this as a regular player and not as a admin. If you are running around as an admin, then this is nothing for you. And honestly, you don't have to build defensively, and I don't even know why you're building a hanging base, but you know, you can do what you want. If that's what you're looking for, I mean, go ahead. I think I'd want my feet on the ground at this point if I was adminning. But if I'm not adminning, I'm in a hostile situation. This space is not turning out too bad. Defensively, it's actually looking to be very decent, despite its massive size. I would say don't let anybody catch you over here. Maybe have multiple builders build this when nobody's on the server, or you are going to be punished big time when they find out that you built this. Alright guys, so I'm not going to actually put the turrets up here and get this all wired up, but this is what the wall should generally look like. And you might be wondering, why didn't you just coat the wall in these ceiling? What are these little things sticking out? That's the first thing you're probably wondering. And what these things are is they are turret emplacement points. And what I've done is I've jammed them into the actual wall here. And my engineering is not the best, and I had to go with what I had here. I did not plan this out very well. This is a very fast build. As you can see from the inside, you can see these walls as well. Now, actually, these walls might not be a bad thing that they're poking in like this, as you can use these as turret emplacements inside. So by setting this up this way, you can set turrets inside and outside on the same wall. Now, the one thing you got to be careful of is people blasting these with rockets and knocking out your turrets on both sides. So you might want to have some the other way. Anyway, over here, same concept. And basically just more and more turret walls. And the spacing, you might be wondering what's up with the spacing. Well, there's a big issue, and unfortunately, these actually could probably be somewhat pushed over. But you can see the spacing over here. You need to leave enough spacing that the turret right here can shoot anybody trying to get from under here. You need the turrets to engage rockets, anything that tries to come up underneath, because that's what they're going to try and do. This base is going to be very hard to fight with, and so they're going to do their very best to sneak up underneath. They're going to zip up here as best they can. They're going to zoom right in here, and I don't have it very fast. They're going to try and get up under here as quick as possible and hunker down. But if they're in line of sight of another turret, the next turret is just going to shoot them. So the idea is to get enough. I mean, if this was right here and this was right here and I pulled up underneath here because you had turrets all coating this every single level, well, they would just get up underneath them. And even if you left one space, I mean, one space, that turret might not be able to shoot. So I left a good amount of space for the turrets between them to shoot. And that's what I suggest, not overkill on the turrets. And they're only going to be able to attack really with flyer mounts or like the Megalania. They're not really going to be able to get out and around like they probably want to drain your turrets any other way. They might be able to, I would set these for short range on the side here, just because they might try and use this section right here to drain the turrets at an angle. You don't want them draining these turrets, and because these turrets are the only thing keeping the base safe. Underneath, you're going to perform a similar, well, not a similar, but another setup of turrets here. And what you're going to do is you're going to hang them by doing something similar to this. And you won't be able to snap it, so you're going to have to do two. And again, carry some thatch walls to save resources. You'll do something like this. And or you can attach a pillar. You can do this with a pillar as well. I prefer to do it with these little. Actually, in some cases, the L might be better as you can place multiple turrets all around. So let's get some pillars. 76. I think we need 3. You can go ahead and do something like this. Hang a few pillars down. And it doesn't matter how they hang, how low you want them to hang is up to you. You could even, I would say actually hang them down like this. And then do something more like snap that right there. Can we demolish this? And then you have a ceiling with some turrets sitting on it, and they can kind of track. Again, give some spacing if you do it this way. And just leave your turrets so they can shoot in all 4 directions. So it really wouldn't be a bad idea, as you can have your turrets hanging. But again, leave some spacing so the turrets can shoot at each other from a distance. So you can do something like this. And I need another. And do that. And then now you got this one crossed over on that one so they can shoot back and forth at each other and basically engage anything that comes to bother these turrets. Again, they're going to try and drain these turrets, so you're going to want, I would definitely set some of these to target player only so they shoot the player off the animal, but set the majority of your turrets, if not all your turrets, to just kill the animals and anything they see, because they're going to try and rocket and everything else, anything they can to completely drain your supply of ammunition. That way they can get in. Once they get in, it's going to be pretty much over for you. That's how most base raids work. Once they're inside, it's game over. Again, this honeycomb design is going to help you out a lot, preventing them from getting in too easily. And even if they do get in, they're not going to have... Now, this is the big issue. If they blow in back here, and this is what I think this room should be one big open room. Because that way the turrets inside will kill anything that tries to make its way in. Because if they blow into this room right here, and let's say they blow through this, right? They blow a hole here, and they blow a hole here, and they blow up into here, and they see it's just 4 walls. Well, they might just continue up. They might continue to the side. If they continue to the side, well, they're going to wander through a bunch of these. So they may just decide, well, there's got to be something up here. There's a behemoth gate. So they come up top. Well, they pop up top. As soon as they blow open here, and maybe grappling hook to the ceiling up here, and they pull themselves up, they get killed. All these turrets just rain hell down on them the moment they do that. That's the best option that I can see. So, inside here, you have enough room to breed your animals, as you can throw AC units down, and you'll be able to get an industrial forge. I'll get all that set up, and I'll show you. Alright, guys, so I kind of feel this is probably about as good as the build needs to get. I don't feel there's a need to throw up everything, as it's a lot of stuff to just keep on adding in and adding in. This is just a suggested design concept. This is not really the actual build, as your build is going to be varied depending on how you place that first ceiling, how crooked everything is, Maybe do you have these kinds of resources on hand? So you're going to get kind of creative and ingenuitive on your own, and you're going to make changes as you go along. I firmly believe this setup is pretty good. I like the openness of this, and I feel utilizing this area in general as one big open room is a better way to go about it. Um, you're probably going to store a Quetzal or two in here. You're not going to store much. If you feel you're going to be storing more than one Quetzal, I suggest something along the lines of putting a ceiling right here where you can see that where the vaults are. Maybe put a ceiling across to go all the way across. Something that just basically a second landing zone so you can store your main Quetzals up there while you breed new ones below. That's my best suggestion on that. But overall, you're talking, I mean, you could build a very massive base, but these, I mean, even this took a while just to build out of this kind of stuff. You may not have the resources, or you may just not have the time to even get something bigger established. I would go ahead and cap these off the best you can. Prevent any sight on your pillars, as these are the lifeblood of the entire facility. Again, kind of cap these off so that nobody can see them. So when they walk inside the room, the only pillar, and unfortunately the only pillar they'll see is the main support. And you could definitely like surround the support with, I mean, the best thing you could possibly do to make sure this structure doesn't fall down is to do this around it. But this is only going to protect it for one level, because that once they come through the floor, if they didn't happen to just get lucky to find this pillar and come straight up it, which would drop the entire floor for the most part. I mean, this wouldn't fall back here, but you would lose all this back here if you lost this, um, which then would drop the doors and all the guns. Yeah, you just don't want to lose this. This is your main support. You might want to go 2, 3 down. You could. It's just, unfortunately, the engineering behind this is it's it's very loose. If they don't find their way to the exact spot, they're screwed. If they do find their way to the exact spot, if they don't find the way to your exact pillar that holds this whole thing up, or the pillars if you've gone and done multiples, then they're never gonna win this fight. They will die in here, and every time, no matter what, they just can't win. But if they do find this pillar, you're going to be in some trouble. And that's why I was just surrounding it with metal, keeping turrets in an open room so that way if any rocket C4, anything is just deployed at all, the C4 rockets, any of it will be engaged immediately and shot down before it can ever actually damage this. You can also put turrets all along this wall. I mean, once you've done something like that, you could do something like this around it. And then just kind of, I mean, I don't know if I'd do that, but you could basically do the best you can to make it invulnerable to being shot. That's my best suggestion on this. Overall, I mean, like I said, I feel maybe doing something like this, and I'm gonna go ahead and zip through it real quick for you because I want to see it myself. So yeah, I could see something like this going on. And this could be wider. I just built the platform out straight, but you could you could definitely land a Quetzal up here, and then have your area down here for work. And also, I mean, you could have all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is perfect storage for some stuff. If depending on your mods, you could get this really well set up. There's a lot of questions of how you would set this up. I mean, there are questions. How would you set this up? Would you do this? Would you do that? It's all dependent on your level of knowledge of PvP, as well as are you on a PvP server or are you on a PvE server? Um, what mods do you have? So rearranging this is kind of up to you. I say that as a Quetzal platform up there. You might need to drop it one more down, although I think that's plenty of room for a Quetzal. And down here's your breeding area and your general, like, throw your forge down and forge up your material. Really, there's not much that goes on down here. Some basic storage of eggs and everything. And this is your workstation up here, kind of elevated above everything else, so that way that if that gets broken down, your storage is not necessarily lost. Although it would be really funny when they blow that pillar, as it would take out, especially depending on how far if they're underneath the ceiling right next to it, blow out the ceiling before they take out the pillar. That a vault would fall right on top of them. That would be pretty good. That would be honestly very hilarious. And then again, cap these off just so nobody sees them, especially while you're opening the door. That could be very dangerous. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope this kind of demonstrated what you can do with this base build. I mean, you really can build something really, really tough and really clever, hard to fight with. Now, well, I just realized something up here. You got one other issue, and that's this up here. What I would do here is I would just flood this area with turrets. Flood it with turrets, because you do have to worry about the issue of somebody coming down through here. Well, they're not going to be able to run down here with a lot of dinos. Nothing. I mean, they can actually stand up here and just soak with the feet of their wrecks, and they're in pretty safe condition. You basically need to take control of the bridge if you are deciding to build a big base like this. So I would suggest even building up here at this point, isolating this area, cover the holes, because they're going to try and use the holes to fire rockets in and then get clean little shots into everything. So once the door is blown off, come on. So once the door is blown off, you won't have a door anymore. The first thing they're going to see is something along these lines. Hopefully you've covered your pillars so they don't see the pillars. Otherwise, they're going to quickly target the pillars and things are going to start falling. But they're going to see in there, and they're going to start shooting at whatever they can see. And the turrets and stuff are going to be the only thing really doing anything. And now you wouldn't have this door, as the door would be gone. So now there's no door. So once they blow the door, this is generally what they'll be looking at. So the turrets are going to be the only thing really protecting your base at this point. And they're going to shoot and they're going to engage. But they're going to have a real easy time taking out this up here, as it's not going to take long for them to just realize, I'm just going to stand back here where the turrets can't see me. I'm going to fire rockets into this. I'm going to blow this apart. That's why I say put some turrets in here as well, because even if you do lose these forward pillars and the front drops, you're going to still have the turrets back here that are going to take their shots and shoot this way. And hopefully we'll stop any rockets from making it further back in. But okay, guys, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. For anybody who was interested in this at all, don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell your friends. Maybe they might be interested as well. What you can kind of do here. This fridge is just sticking out. That's just, yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, like and subscribe. If you have any ideas, suggestions, anything, leave a comment down there below if you want to see me do something. I'm thinking I might be doing some PvP soon, so you might see some PvP videos. But for now, that's going to be it, and you all take care, and I'll catch you next time.